southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I'll slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
On.
You want to lead the charge?
Yep. Remove your covers. That's what we said in the military. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice and one hell of a life for all.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Welcome back
Let's
to
go.
another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast. Today is kind of a special podcast for us because we're truly having really a friend of ours on. A lot of people we have on is like, you know, it's the first time we're talking to him. Colton and Tony and I have shared literally maybe hundreds of hours in a duck blind at this point.
That's right.
And have laughed, have probably cussed a lot.
Understatement.
Yeah, I don't even know, but we've had a lot of great times. Colton's like one of our best friends in Arkansas, and we're super happy to have him on. He guides for Delta Thunder. You guys have heard Kade on the podcast multiple times. So, Colton, thank you for coming on, man.
Man, appreciate you guys having me. I've been excited, ready for it all week. So, kick the kids out so we can have some quiet and talk. But
that's right. That's the thing he's most excited about.
yeah,
Just getting the break from the kids, man. No, we've shared so much time with you, dude. And, you know, if you guys don't know, Colton will tell you, you know, but he's a school teacher, and thank you for doing that.
Football coach.
And a hell of a mentor to a lot of young people. And dude, we're just happy to share that part of you that, you know, that makes us so connected, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Go
ahead, man.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, give us a little intro, man, on who you are. I know you're you're from Arkansas, obviously, but I think we're gonna actually learn a little bit tonight, because I don't think we've ever asked you where you are.
Do you like Mexican and do you like shooting ducks?
What got you into
I do like those.
Some of those things, So give us a little 2 second or 2 minute commercial, if you would, on Colton.
Well, y'all have already introduced me. I'm Colton Bailey. Grew up here in Northeast Arkansas, originally from Batesville, so kind of the foothills of the Ozarks. Live over in Jonesboro now, close to Kade here at Delta Thunder. I'm a 7th grade health teacher at Brooklyn Junior High. Coach junior high football with Brooklyn. Help a little bit with senior high on Friday nights. And, it's great. I joke with you guys all the time about being a teacher and, annoying kids and stuff, but it's really not. It's a blessing, opportunity to get to see these kids grow and seeing their faces like between classes. All of them are always like, "Hey, Coach Bailey, hey, Coach Bailey."
Yeah.
They love to clown on me, which is fine. I had kids today drawing goofy pictures of me in class when they finished their tests, and I just laugh. I think it's funny. I don't take offense to any of it. Like if you want to clown on me. It's fine with me.
Well, there's something to be said about creating an environment for success, right? And you're good with that, and you're letting them have fun, and that's what this is all about. And they get to learn a little bit along the way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's much easier. We all remember, when you think about how long a class was, it was like 7 years. Yeah, it was 7 years to get through a class, you know what I mean? And then you're like, my God, and if you're having fun, it just zips on by.
Yeah,
you look forward to going.
It's gotta be fulfilling to be like just kind of know low key that like you're one of the fun teachers.
Yeah,
I try. Sometimes you got to buckle down and we got to get stuff done, but I try to have fun. We try to laugh. Like I said, I let them clown on me. It's fun for me. I just sit back and laugh.
So I don't even think I've ever asked you this, but so how did you, because I know you coach football too, like how did you get into, was it like you wanted to coach football and then you started teaching so you could coach football? Because I know there's some schools that are like that. Or was it you were teaching and then it was like, hey, do you want to coach football too?
Well, originally we'll start back to college.
Okay.
When I went to college, I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And my first year didn't go so hot. I had opportunities, away from home, didn't have somebody tell me to go to class, didn't tell me have somebody tell me to do homework, that kind of stuff. So my GPA wasn't real hot.
Well, and a lot of people asking you to go duck hunting.
Yes, yeah. Being here in Jonesboro, that was bad. I was easily manipulated to miss any type of class to do
Right.
anything other than it.
That's funny.
And so I started thinking, I was like, physical therapy is probably not gonna be my thing. So what else am I good at? And I thought back in high school, we had a football camp in the summer, and my head coach allowed me to work that from a ninth grader all the way up until I graduated. And I enjoyed it, and it was so cool because we would start them in third grade and they would finish in ninth grade. So we'd have 2 sessions, have third through sixth in the first session, 6 through 9 in the second session, and being able to see those kids go from third graders to ninth graders, like summer by summer, and seeing them grow, seeing them learn the game, seeing their skill levels change. And I was like, man, that is cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's something I want to do. I want to be able to be an influence in people's lives, be able to help kids any way I can. And then I loved football on top of that. So I was like, let's do it. Let's try that. And that's what I did, and I hadn't looked back yet. I enjoy it.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That's awesome, dude. No, I was just telling Tristan tonight about he's a sales rep and stuff, and obviously I was when I first started my career, and I got into management, and I said, the thing that at some point you're like, I don't want to be a teacher, I don't want to be a salesperson. What's the next challenge? And I said, when I got into management, I didn't know that I was going to love this so much, but being a part of their everyday lives to help influence what they do, not only just from a work production standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. How can this company embrace these great folks and really just grow this business? And you're essentially doing the same thing with a team, no matter what that team is. You know what I mean? So good for you, dude. I know this, and I just talked to Hunter the other night, and I said, there's not one young man that came out of that program from down there in Bartram Trail with Coach Sutherland. He said the number one thing he was focused on is making you all good young men. And isn't that funny how that's the most important thing?
Yeah.
Now it's not the tackles or the plays you made, anything. It's all that other stuff, And you remember those influencers, man. They're going to be like years from now. You're going to be like 1,000 years old, like me. And they're gonna be like, Coach Bailey, you remember that one time?
I hope they do. That's one of my personal goals. I want to continue that relationship with them, throughout their lives. I hope to be able to run into them again.
That's awesome. That's
cool,
awesome.
Man.
So
yeah, to your point, dude. Like, Colton, you talk about like, feeling like you're, what you were doing is like you were seeing these kids progress and stuff like that, and feeling like you're leaving an impact. Like. You mentioned my coach. Like, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, Colton, but just a quick, 30,000, foot view on him. This guy, he started with the school in 2001 and was there until 2019, 2020. I graduated in 15, but head of Bible study. Yeah, head of Bible study. Just a unique, this guy, literally every week we had a character word of the week. That was
he made you all write personal cards to your moms on Mother's Day.
Yeah, our senior high coach does that kind of stuff. It's cool.
We had homecoming, and it was like, well, make sure you go shake the whoever your date is, shake the the hand of the dad, and make sure you tell him when his daughter's gonna be home by, and all that stuff. And it's just and it's not even just that stuff, but also just the motivational stuff and all that. It is really cool, how. Looking back on those things, how many of those things I find myself thinking back on just throughout my life, just the character stuff. And, as one of the things he was always big on is building that backbone through adversity. You know what I mean? Because you don't have that, and that's what's a great thing about team sports and football in particular is, you're going to get knocked down, you're going to get your ass beat, and
you're injured.
How do you respond to that? And it's those kind of things what make strong-willed individuals. And I look back on that stuff all the time, and this is 10 years removed, so just to your point, Colton, the impact that you're making, it really, there's kids that could be 10 years from now being like Coach Bailey,
You changed my life. No, really, you think about it, there's always going to be a few kids that were less fortunate, that didn't have structure in their house. They didn't have maybe a dad or a mom or, you don't know where they came from.
Yeah.
You know, and so those relationships, I mean, still today, you know, Coach Beck, you know, was I mean, he's so influential in my life, you know, and Coach Bradley, you know, even though he used to spit in my face when he grabbed my face mask, you know, but
You probably deserved it.
yeah, I did. Well, I threw too many interceptions, but
That'll happen.
but it's something. It's neat when you are in a role like that. That's the deep meaning here is that it carries on for years to come.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of those things that, especially when you get older, you look back and you go, good deed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it could just be one person that you change their life, or you know, that's the opportunity that you have, and I'm happy you're embracing it. That's awesome, dude.
Man, appreciate it.
So, Colton, you know, we touched on like the school and the football and stuff like that, but I want to hear a little bit about like, you know, what got you into hunting, dude? Like, who was that influence in your life that got you into hunting, and like, what's that journey been like?
Well, I think my first hunt, I think I was in 3rd grade, and my uncle Todd Burton, he's hunted my whole life, and I remember being at my grandparents' house, and like he would be cooking duck, or he'd be cooking turkey or deer, and I was always, I guess the word would be like envious, because I'm watching him and I'm like, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that, and so I was blessed growing up. My grandpa has about 50 acres just north of where I grew up, and that guy took me hunting every time I wanted to go. Him and my uncle. I was sitting here thinking before, you know, you guys called me up, and, you know, there was never a time I could ever think in my young life, if I asked either one of those guys, hey, will you take me hunting? It was always yes. They never told me no.
Dude, I want to be your age again.
And, you know, it's so like I could call my grandpa the night before and was like, hey, can we go deer hunting after school? And he'd be right there. He parked in the same parking spot every day, every time he come to pick us up. And I was bolting out the doors, and we were going to the deer stand.
Man.
And so I owe both of them. I cursed Todd more because he got me in the duck hunting, and now I buy a bunch of stupid stuff that I really don't need.
That's
and,
right.
Start.
Well, at
chasing
least you're
stuff all
in the
around
same
country,
basket as a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
But I do. I owe them a ton. You know, my uncle Todd, like I said, he's taught me everything I know about deer hunting, duck hunting, turkey hunting, and like I said, he's never told me no. And I've never really personally got to just sit down with him and tell him and my grandpa both how much I appreciate them taking me and getting me in the outdoors and feeling that love that I've gotten for it. And I'm super appreciative of them.
Dude,
That's awesome.
That's super cool. And I mean, that's one thing that like I really kind of one of the passions behind like why we do everything we do is like, you know, you were fortunate enough to have people in your life to show you the outdoors, but like I got a lot of friends that didn't, and like thankfully through my dad really like they got to see the outdoors, like they've came hunting with us, and like that I've always been so thankful that I've had somebody in my life too, like, and that's kind of the fuel I guess behind why we do a podcast or why we do a YouTube. It's like, you know, yeah, it's cool. Sometimes it's all about killing ducks, but like we really do the heart of what we do is like, you know, trying to influence somebody to do things the right way and want to get into, you know.
Yeah, and understand what hunting really is. You know, we want those folks that were previously influenced by big pictures, big videos, to understand that look, that isn't even the fun part.
No.
I mean,
No.
yeah, there's something to be said about big deer, something to be said about a great day of duck hunting for sure. But those
Yeah,
are far and
if-
few
if-
between.
If you've only watched our most recent video, then you're like, you guys are full of shit. But
Yeah, no, but
Exactly.
exactly, but the fun part is everything else.
yeah,
It really is. You know, it's and that's what you get addicted to. And so if we can spend more time like talking about, like, one of the things I loved that I think really made Steve Ranella blow up is his ability to dictate reality hunting.
yeah.
I mean,
100%.
really. And the way he did that was because he's so incredible with his narration.
Yes, he's so smart.
It's
yeah.
because he was a writer, and he's so particular with his words and how he uses them, and I don't know, he's just relatable.
I give him the credit for being like the first dude that was like not. I mean, the majority of the hunting community is like, and there's nothing wrong with this, is like, you know, from the outside looking in, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of these guys are smart, but, you know, like the outside looking in, you see these guys and the way they talk or whatever, you're like, oh, that's just like, you know, another southern redneck shooting or whatever. You know?
Right.
But
Right.
Steve Rinella's that dude that's like,
It draws you in immediately.
He's a journalist. He's a writer. Like,
Yes.
the way he talks, he says words I don't even understand.
Dude, I've watched probably. I'm not lying. I've been on this kick. Like, I got off of the TV stuff for a long time just because. I'll just leave those opinions to myself. But you know, I went back and I've been really like drilling meat eaters lately.
Yeah.
And I've watched 3 episodes in the last week where nothing really happened at all.
Mm-hmm.
Some rabbits got shot. A jackrabbit got shot when they were grouse hunting, and that was it. And gave Steve fleas all over his back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it was just, like I said, the storytelling part of that. I really feel like with what he has done, it's opened the world to more of reality because
Yeah.
he's such a big stage for that, right?
Yeah, he's
and
probably the
Rogan's
OG
helped
of
it.
that, yeah.
Rogan's helped that a ton as well. He's very humbled about what he's went through as far as archery hunting and deer hunting and understanding like the spiritual part of it and all that stuff, you know. So we are I feel like we're in our best time right now from a social media standpoint, to really be on a platform to change lives with these young people and older people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing that, you know, my stepdad used to tell me, he said, back in the day, he goes, do you know how many people that's never shot a deer with a bow? I was like, no, I've shot deer with my bow. I'm a 13-year-old kid. You know what I mean? He's like, there's people that have hunted for 10, 15 years and have never shot a deer with a bow.
Well, and back then too, like to add context, like I don't know if like you've ever heard this, Colton, but his stepdad would say like it was something if you saw a deer track in Illinois. That was like
Yeah.
a cool day.
Back in the 50s, I mean, they would all go to Shawnee National Forest.
which is crazy to think
Yeah,
about.
they would all
What
camp
Illinois
up
is now.
back in the 50s. He said they would do archery expeditions at county fairs. So displaying archery, people were just like, wow, you know, and then he showed up one time and
Is that a caveman?
right. He put a tree stand. I remember it went viral. Back in
What-
that
yeah,
time,
what was viral?
viral in that time was
the carrier
Pigeon
pigeon.
carrier?
yeah, carrier pigeon viral. But check this out. He built a portable, like to our best of our knowledge, and you can ask anybody from
Scribe,
Illinois.
write this down.
Yeah, but listen, I'll tell you what. There's some big names in the hunting industry that will swear to this, and that is when the companion tree stand came out
I don't
back
know
in the
what that
days. That's the tree stand that Jerry invented. It was the first. It was the first made in production portable tree stand that you could hang even on a leaning tree and stay level.
Huh.
And he showed that off at the Illinois State Fair and had a ramp going up to it with his truck tire on it.
Wow.
It held.
Wow.
And it was made out of plywood, chain link, and chains. Plywood seat, plywood platform, and then it had conduit that would hold both the top and the bottom together, wrapped around a tree with a chain link. And what was unique about it is you folded the seat back towards the seat to give you the tightest link.
Huh.
Then when you fold the seat down, it bit, and it was in a V. And he was the first person to ever come up with that. And it was a big deal back then. And people were like, what in the hell is that? And of course, there was no safety belts or anything like that. But
They're like, we just stood on a piece of plywood we wedged in between that split tree over there.
that's right. That's right. So anyway, I just
That's
wanted to share
really
that
cool
with you.
about getting to walk around my grandpa's place. Like you can look up in trees and you see those deer stands, and you're like, my God, people sat in those.
Yeah, right. There's some memories, and there surely is. I saw a meme the other day that just said, "Would you climb up this?" And it was an old deer stand. And I was like, no, but I'm gonna hang my deer stand above that because a lot of times when you find those old deer stands, dude,
Absolutely.
it's those people, especially on public land. You walk by that and you're like, yeah, I want to find my own spot. Bro,
It's there for a reason. It's there for a reason.
Right. That's right. No, good stuff.
Those dudes figured it out before every electronic tool we have now.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
If only he could climb up in those stands and get the memories.
Oh
That's sitting
man,
there would be crazy.
dude, I know, right?
Dude, I just watched The Witch Hunter with Vin Diesel last night, and I have to say this. There was a friend of his that was she was called a dream weaver or something like that, and she had the ability to go up and suck your brain and go into your memory and go with you. That's what we would like to do.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
I need that dream weaver lady.
So, looking back on like these memories and stuff like that, I mean, I can't help but ask, like what I guess would be your favorite memory, but also like I want to hear about like what the first like duck hunting experience was like, because Kade always has like the coin story of him and Hugh Dean going out there and he shoots the 2 ducks or whatever, and I think one might have been banded or something, but
well, my first duck hunt, so my uncle took me, and before it got the way it is now, he was in a duck club and they had pits everywhere. Mm-hmm. So all back behind Valley View School, you guys know what I'm talking about. You've been here enough. There was pits. They had pits all back there. Mm. And so, like I said, he never told me no. If I wanted to go, there's always an opportunity to go. And the first duck hunt, I remember, I was so excited. I've watched everybody go. I was finally old enough. And I remember sitting in the dog box on a 5-gallon bucket because I wasn't tall enough to stand in the bottom of the pit. And right at first light, our favorite 2 spoonbills
there we go
come in, and they light on the water, and it's me, my uncle, and some of his buddies, and of course they're like, "Hey, Colton, shoot it!" So I shoot my first spoonbill off the water, and it's back to that time where duck hunting was still really good in Arkansas, and we'd shot a few ducks. And, we look up and there are, I don't even know, 200, 250 mallards all, locked up, and they're just working just like you want mallards to do. And I'm like shaking on edge. I'm like, okay, we're fixing to shoot anytime. We're fixing to shoot any. And I'm kind of like peeking down the pit. And, nobody's doing anything. They're all just sitting. And I whispered, I was like, what are we doing? He's like, we're just enjoying the show, man. He said, it's, we don't get to see this all the time, especially mallards. He's like, we're just going to sit back and watch. And I remember sitting there going, we're not going to shoot any of these. And we watched these ducks work and work and work and work. And they all hit the water. And then they all kind of looked and like, all right, shoot them. And we pop up and we shot them. And I was like, why are we waiting so long to shoot these things? But they're like, no, like we want you to get all of this. We want you to see the ducks work, and we want you to see them decoying, like you've got to learn now. If you want to do this, you've got to watch the ducks. You got to understand like what they're listening to, calls we're making. And I didn't see it at that point. I was just like, no, let's kill. Yeah. And it's that's my first duck hunt memory. And, like I said, it bit me from there, and I'm in debt up to my eyeballs because of duck hunting now.
So, I mean, that just opened up like a I don't even know, like I got like 17
a whole dictionary,
17 questions in my brain now. But I guess the first one, I'm always curious to hear anytime we have somebody on here that's like Arkansas native, like I want to, like, I'm curious to hear, like, so just tell us a little bit about like what was it actually like back in the day, in the heyday of it, dude. Like, because from an out-of-stater perspective, like you've heard us talk about this, like we get excited over the dumbest shit. like we shot 4 teal. Like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you've heard Kade's stories. Mine are kind of the same. Like, you'd get out, there would literally be ducks everywhere, and you're walking to the pit, or you're on the 4-wheeler. At that time, they had the Argos, so they're the 6-wheeled deals. And I remember sitting in the back, and you could just hear ducks just everywhere, quacking, flying up out of your pit, like out of your spread. And like you'd get in, you get set up, and within 35, 40 minutes, an hour, you're done.
Wow.
And and like I said, I was blessed. I was blessed to have that opportunity to start. And as I got older, things got more expensive. The guys didn't start buying as many pits, and so I didn't have all those opportunities, and I had to go public land. Mm-hmm. And that was a grind.
Amen to that.
When I first went public land, I was like, "Oh, this will be fine." I was like, "I've hunted fields for years. Like, you just go out there, you smash your ducks, you come back, and then you go public land, and you're like, oh, I saw a wood duck fly by this time." It was tough, but those early days, getting to hunt fields, it was crazy. You'd kill your ducks quick and you'd be out. And by the time I had to go public is kind of when the decline, I guess you would say, started, and it started to get hard.
Yeah. Well, you make a great point here, and that is, like, I'm comparing this to deer hunting right now, Tristan. So, here we grow up in hunting the Golden Triangle of Illinois, the most popular place, Pike County. Everybody knows it. Deer hunting was much easier. You had the opportunity of seeing, just play it from a numbers, like a funnel game, right?
Right.
Versus now, we hunt, which we're super thankful for. We hunt on a small tract of land. Some friends of us let us hunt there. But, for us to see like a good 100 and say 10, 20 inch 8-point or something like that, bro, we're doing backflips. You know what I mean? We're in Illinois. We're in Illinois, like, you don't even talk to your friends about a 120 inch 8-point because they'll slap you. They'll be like, listen, actually, I saw a guy get shunned for shooting a 140 inch 8-point during shotgun season.
Hesitating.
Dude, like, literally, he said he was going to mount it, and a guy walked up that I know, said, "You do not mount a 140 inch 8-point with a shotgun."
What a dude.
He goes, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah, at least you're mounted.
But this was in Pike County, what I mean? But
I've thought about, it's funny you bring that up, like, it's kind of like a loaded thing you brought up, because, like, the pressure on certain areas is, like, definitely a consideration, but, like, one thing, like, we were such a late adopters of the cellular trail camera. We got them last year, and really, I'll take credit for this. I got them, and
he did,
and I paid the monthly payment.
He did
on behalf of us, and
about time you're doing something.
But how much money you think I've spent, Colton?
Probably a lot.
Bro, there's a lot. There's thousands and thousands of dollars before I made that little pay for anything.
This fall, elevate your outdoor pursuits with Williamson Outfitters, offering professionally guided experiences along Florida's Forgotten Coast. Whether it's coastal duck hunting, inshore fishing, gator hunting, or flounder gigging, every Williamson Outfitters experience is guided by a seasoned, licensed captain, delivering world-class adventure with local expertise. From small private groups to large corporate retreats, our fleet of well-equipped boats and experienced guides deliver first-class outdoor adventures for sportsmen of all ages and experience levels. Call or text 850-251-8650 or visit www.floridaducks.com to book your trip. Williamson Outfitters, making the Forgotten Coast unforgettable.
So, yeah, that is true. So, but, we hunt an hour away, even here, like, wherever we hunt's an hour away, and it's like, the ability, like, we wasted so much time in tree stands before this, like, just going out, like, not having an idea of what deer we're doing, because you had to go out and track the damn trail camera. It's an hour away.
We had to go out and check to see if a piece of string had broken a trail.
Yeah.
All right,
so if you cuss one more time and make me edit out one more F-bomb or, I'm
in trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna fight.
Listen.
Which I don't care. For the record, I'm just saying. We like to be family friendly.
We bring you the reality, and the reality of this situation is that my son is browbeating his father live on the air. So guess what? But you know what? I can't argue with you.
All right. So anyway, back to it. So the the whole thing of like saving the gas of like, okay, we're gonna spend $15 on gas each time we go to check these cameras. It's like it makes it like a no-brainer over a period of time to invest in them.
Well, it's no different than like, honestly, and old timers will agree with me on this, is that we hunted for so many years without safety.
Yeah.
I mean, like to the point where it seemed odd to put a safety vest on, even knowing the risk. Like it all started with the technology. What it all started with is that you just put a belt on. And that was something to hold you in, you know. And thank God the Tree Stand Manufacturers Association, they've been a very vital part in making that a requirement that when they sell a tree stand, that it has to have a safety harness in it. At least you're like saying, hey, look, don't get up there without the safety in place, you know. But we just never had that.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, it took me a little bit when you're trying to afford. Here's where I'm going with all this. These things all cost money, especially, you know, like Colton, I was your age, and, you know, we had, when Tristan was little and stuff like that. And man, I mean, when you have kids and stuff, gosh dang, like $5 is something, you know, that your wife's like, we need it, and you don't need scent spray, you know what I mean? You know, but when it comes to those extra things, like I remember, like how dumb was I to like not recognize that $65-$85 was important to my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, just silly, you know, how that goes. But to your point, you know, about how things cost money, dude, and every little thing costs more money, you know, and so it makes it very difficult.
What, Colton, I'm curious to see what you think about this. So I feel like the hunting community and what stuff is costing, I know everything's going up, like everything all the time is costing more money. But I feel like some of this stuff, like shotguns, bows, some just the more high ticket stuff, is like, dude, like who's out here buying these $2,000 bows
like I
or
did that
shotguns every single year? Like I just don't understand.
I did that thing about
who
bows.
has the money to do this? Like, and obviously you don't need to do that, but like, do you feel like it's kind of out of control? Because I do personally.
Absolutely.
It's marketing driven.
I mean, we just talked about it. I'm a teacher. We know we ain't got that much money. So yeah, I feel like it's getting out of hand with everybody thinking they got to have the newest, nicest stuff. I think it was Tony. I saw your short or whatever it was the other day talking about your, you know, shooting a bow that was from 12 years ago, and like that's fine. And I understand like they develop new stuff and it's quicker, it's quieter, you know. But 12 years ago, you were still able to kill that 180-inch buck with that bow.
That's right.
And so, I mean, it's just like you said, it's marketing. They're trying to make you feel like, you know, this is better. This is the.
It's in the teens that morning, and maybe you're chasing ducks or geese, but now it's September and it's 85 degrees, and you're hunting early teal or geese. As a waterfowler, you need dependable weather protection that will not break the bank. Founded in 1996, Frog Togs is not only the leader in breathable wader technology, but a company you can depend on to keep you warm and dry, head to toe, no matter your hunting environment.
Best thing, you've got to have this. You're not cool if you don't have this, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, I agree.
Here's what, on that point, here's what's going to blow you guys' mind about this. And this is, I feel like I just came up with a great idea.
Oh God.
Listen.
This could be really great or really bad. We'll see.
Oh, it's going to be great. Listen.
There's no in between.
We'll see it.
I will challenge anybody listening to this that as far as a bow goes, when you see videos of somebody shooting something incredible with a bow and arrow, how many times is it a compound versus a recurve or a longbow? Not very often.
It's always a compound.
Right.
No, I'm talking about hitting aspirins out of the air, shooting doves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just crazy.
That is true, yeah.
Crazy, like a guy splitting an arrow that's coming at him. I mean, what? And that's not made up, dude. People really do that.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's like some David Copperfield, David Blaine. Why are their names both David? Maybe David's the best shot with a bow. I don't know. But the point is,
wait.
You don't see people with compound bows doing that shit.
Hey, David and Goliath, bro. That's what
right.
it is.
That's
Exactly.
right. But think about it. So when we're talking about technology changing, why it's so important, blah, 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 is like, how come some of those folks, using traditional equipment, no sights, nothing, are able to perform that way.
Yeah.
So maybe you suck at performing with your equipment.
That's true. If you,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's
if you ain't
definitely
working
a
on
lot
the
of that.
craft, you ain't gonna get better. So.
I mean, Colton, you'll be the first one to say how good I am at shot with my Frankie.
You kill all of them. So.
I know, I kill every duck. Every single one of them some bitches.
I shoot them all with the camera.
That's
You
right.
do. You,
Every single one.
you,
Now,
you are, you
listen.
kill them all.
Now, listen, this is a great time to transition to. Listen, when we first got to, let's talk about Colton from our perspective.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. I had one more Colton
Okay.
backstory question that would
Go ahead.
lead perfect
Okay.
into what you're about
Go
to say.
ahead. Go ahead.
So I want to know. He was about to ask like when we started meeting Colton from our perspective, but I want to know how did Colton and Kade meet, and how like talk about this journey to now guiding for Kade.
Sometimes I wonder if it's a good thing.
Wait, hold on. Say that again so I can video this and send it to Kade real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it went back to duck hunting was hard in Arkansas, and I had some buddies. We were grinding it out, and not being successful. And I have, this is when I was still living in Batesville, and I would be driving over here to see family and stuff here in Jonesboro, and I would see geese everywhere. And I was like, you know what? Forget these ducks, but there's geese everywhere. So let's try some geese. And so I got on Facebook. Kind of scary, I did, but I got on Facebook and I got on Arkansas. I think it was Duck Hunter Guides and whatever. And I just put on, looking for a goose hunt. And I'm gonna doubt it was Kade, because Cade's not real active on that, or wasn't at that point. He's getting a little better now. I'm gonna say it's probably Colin that commented on it and said, they had a place. And so I went, and I think we killed, I don't know, 2 or 3 specks that morning. And I was like, okay, this is cool. And, so I was paying, and I was like, okay, now I need to save up because I want to do this again. And it just kind of went from there. Like, I kept going with Kade. Like, I appreciated how he treated me. I know there's a couple times that I went and, we weren't successful in the morning. And you guys know, because you've been around him long enough, he's like, man, we can stick it out. We can try something in the afternoon. We can move here. And, and I appreciated like his honesty, and I appreciated the work that him, Colin, and then later when Grinder came into the picture, the work that they did to at least try to make sure I was successful.
Yeah, give you the opportunity. Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I like these guys. So I kept coming back. And I, like you guys have said, I enjoy, of course I love shooting stuff, but I enjoy the before, I enjoy the after, I enjoy the putting out the decoys, I enjoy the picking up the decoys. And so, like, I got to where...
Kade, did you hear that? That Colton's going to pick up all the decoys this year.
I will. I don't have as much love for it now as I did, but
but we are close enough that you turn around and go, Tony, get your ass out here and help me get these decoys.
But so I got to where, like, I was showing up early to the hunts, and I would help put out decoys, and I would stay after, and I would help pick up decoys. And so, like, I was
trying to emboss yourself in the experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, and then I guess it was 2 or 3 years ago, my wife and mother-in-law decided, what's a good birthday present for him? And I don't want anything, because I tell everybody when they're trying to buy me stuff, like, if I want something, I'm just going to go buy it.
Yeah.
Like, if I can afford it, I'm just going to go get it. Like, I'm not going to wait for my birthday. So I'm like, don't worry about getting me anything.
Yeah.
Well, they, behind my back, got a hold of Kade. And Kade sold them a membership for me to come hunt whenever I wanted.
Oh, wow.
And so
I was going to bring that up. That's what I remember. Yeah. That's about where I came.
That's about where we all kind of met then. And so it went from there. So I would still.
What's up, guys? If you want coffee that doesn't suck, you probably can guess what I'm going to say. Get the Duck. Dirty Duck Coffee is the official coffee of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast, and they have a great lineup of different coffee blends, everything from Morning Wood and First Flight to Dark Dynasty and Suns Up, Guns Up. You can't go wrong with Dirty Duck Coffee, and they have a great lineup of cold brew cans, mocha, French vanilla, original cold brew, and cinnamon teal snickerdoodle. If you want 15% off your next order, use code OneHellOfALife15 on your next order.
And then I guess it's 3 years ago now, Kade, I came back because I got a job over here. And Cade's like, hey, man, you're moving back to Jonesboro, right? I said, yeah, I'm moving back. And he's like, do you want a guide for me? And in my head, I'm like, absolutely, I want a guide for you. Because like I said, I liked how he handled his business. Now, I get it. You can't make everybody happy. You're not going to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
But he, to me, always tries his best to put you on ducks, put you on geese, put you on dove, whatever it is. And so I was like, I can stand behind that dude. And he works his tail off for people. He gives away veteran hunts. He gives away youth hunts. Like, I can get behind that dude. I was like, I want to work with this dude. I will work with this dude. I'll put my name with his name, and let's go. And so I told Erica about it, and she was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I said, well, let me put it this way. I live in Jonesboro now. I'm going to be duck hunting.
Yeah.
Do you want me to get paid for it? Or do you want me to go do it for free? Because I'm going to go do it. And she said, well, if you put it that way, she said, I'd rather you get paid for it. And I said, okay, that's what I thought. And so, I went from there, and it's been a blast. And I'm looking forward to this year. And we'll see what kind of crazy memories we can make again this year.
I love hearing the backstory of that, dude. It's honestly so cool. I mean, because
kind of like y'all, started as a client and then and made a friend, a lifelong friend.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think that's what resonated about hearing that story from you is like, even from somebody that's came from like, you came from the heyday of like Arkansas, but still like had to go through like the struggle and the grind, and then like you meet Kade, and XYZ happens or whatever. But it kind of it definitely resonates with our kind of origin story with Kade of just going out there, and it's like Kade will tell you it was the worst year since, like, I might be the worst year in the last 10 15 years of duck hunting. Like, we went and we shot 2 ducks that day, and it was a gadwall and a ringneck, I think, and Mike shot them both. Yeah. Our buddy Mike. And then we went and goose.
No, I shot them.
Yeah.
They always got them. When the game warden shows up, Tony killed them all.
Nope.
And then goose hunted in the afternoon with him and Colin and some other guys or whatever.
That's when I fell in love with Delta.
Yeah, Delta was young then. Delta was like less than a year old.
That's the first time I saw a dog work, and I still love her today. And I keep telling Ike, I'm like, you're gonna meet like the queen.
Yeah.
And Kade, I'll never forget. He like walked over. We're like wearing our GoPros or whatever on our head.
He didn't say anything mean, did he?
No, yeah, he did.
I don't know if he. I don't know. I just remember him looking at us. He might have had a dip in his mouth or whatever. He's like, "So y'all got a YouTube and stuff?" And like,
he goes. He said over to everybody else. He goes, "Hey guys, these guys are filming this goose hunt."
No, he wasn't a smart ass or anything.
Yes,
I
he
just
was.
remember him being like curious. Like I remember him being like,
he was very curious.
Like, what do you guys got going on? And I didn't know he had been trying to like GoPro.
Promote.
Yeah.
He'd been doing some GoPro stuff or whatever, and then I think you came. He invited us for a spec hunt the following year. I couldn't go. You and Mario went, right?
Yeah.
And Drew.
Yep.
And
I filmed under extreme conditions.
I wasn't there, but I do remember that video.
Yeah, the extreme conditions were. I drank a lot of Busch Lights. Let's just say that, but I still produced the video.
Well, and I mean, and just to see where like our relationship has evolved with Kade as well as we've like, it's been like the perfect thing because we have been able to, like, you look at our early videos of what we've done out there, and I mean, my God, like I mean,
Sometimes it's embarrassing.
They're not terrible in the grand scheme of like YouTube. Like, there's some shitty hunts on YouTube, and we always did our best to try to tell a story, but like the quality was not there, and like over the time we've had to like we upgrade like things. As
just like everybody else, dude, we're busting our ass to try to make this work. You know?
And like, and the great thing about Kade is like he has been there along the way to allow us to like, continually like upgrade things and like try things out. And it's like, we don't get it right. Like sometimes we screw up the whole thing. You know.
Oh
I
man,
mean,
Colton was there when I screwed up
Part
the
of
whole
it.
thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you forgot the video.
Oh, the
That's okay.
GoPros. No, the GoPros work. It wasn't. It was the first time instead of like hitting record on the GoPros that we had. I came with like 1,000 GoPros. And what's ironic about it is the weekend before. This is a great lesson for anybody listening to this. Is that even if you have a guide or an outfitter, they can't control the ducks. And the weekend before that, we didn't even raise our guns. Didn't raise them. And then next thing you know, me and Colton are shitting our pants. With like ducks.
Yeah.
Like
Was that like the good old days, Colton?
dude?
That was kind of like it. Like,
Dude,
Kade
I
is
just-
driving out of the field, and there are spoonies like trying to land in the back of the side by side.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
No,
they're-
we have to shoot you first before you go back.
Well,
there.
Colton, this is what I remember is Colton goes, "Do you hear that?" And I go, "Hear what?" And he goes, "Look." And all of a sudden I start hearing boom, 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 boom. And you could see him in the light of the taillights. But man, when we rocked off those first couple shots,
And missed.
the first volley, I go, all three of us were so shitting our pants because Kay goes, get ready. There's 75 spoonies dropping from my. Colton's like, get ready. There's 55 teal dropping from the left. I mean, it was just
55.
but what I didn't realize at the time, yeah, that was happening like right directly around our blind. But when we rocked off that first, I mean, it makes me sick. I don't have the footage, dude. And that's what we're talking about. Dude, I said, Kade, how many ducks was that? He goes, probably like 10,000. And I was like, what the and I don't have anything to show for it?
You know what's crazy is like I've been on some really good ones out there, but I haven't seen that.
Dude, it was insane. So for 3 days in a row, we went in, we shot the next morning, or maybe it was that morning. Yeah, it was that morning. We shot a 3-man of all spoonies. All spoonie hens.
The ultimate
Dude,
hunt.
that's that picture of me on the John Deere tractor.
I think Grinder used to say that he wanted a dead mount of 15 spoonie hens and 1 coot.
The perfect hunt.
But dude, it was just crazy how that trend continued because all I knew, and let me take a step back here, is that we're talking about like your relationship with Kade and where that came in, where we came in, our perspective, all that stuff. The thing that started it off with is like I heard Colton's name and I was like, "Who's that guy?" He's like, "Oh, he's a member." Mm-hmm. And so that's all I knew.
I think your name in his phone still Colton, my duck hunter.
It is.
My duck
It is.
hunter, yeah.
Hey, his name in my phone is still Kade Goose Guy. So it fits.
Well, and then all of a sudden, me and Colton meet or whatever, we become friends on Facebook, and he posts this gigantic buck. He shoots this giant buck.
Hang on. Pause.
Yeah. You got him?
This one.
Yeah! Let's go, dude! Let's go! All right. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, he posts this picture, and I say, Kade, I go, Jesus God. I said, that's a giant dude. He goes, luckiest I've ever met. I'm sorry to say it again, but that's exactly what Kade said. So then I go on this hunt with Colton.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's great. Then for 3 days in a row, we just kept like 4-man, 5-man, 6-man, and just shooting everything under the skylights. I mean, it was an insane 3 or 4 days, where it just was right. Everything was right. But I said, you know what? I'm not ever hunting without Colton.
Well, okay. So
I want to touch on that real quick.
go ahead. Yeah.
So back in 2001, November 18th, I lost one of my best friends. He was a police officer in Batesville. He's responding to a call on a rainy night, lost control of his cruiser, and passed away.
Damn.
I got that call, or not call, but I guess I'd seen it on Facebook that morning. And I I was going to hunt that afternoon. I was kind of shook up. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to hunt? Do I want to go home? Do I want to maybe go see his family? Because he has a brother that I was really close with too in high school. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to go hunt. That's what I'm going to do. And I got to my grandpa's farm and I pulled up to the bottom gate. And before I got out, I was like, you know, I'm going to pray. And
That's awesome.
I'm not the best Christian at times. And I definitely can be better. But I was like, I'm going to pray. And so, you know, I didn't pray to kill a deer. I didn't pray. I just prayed, you know, Frank, his name was Frank. I said, Frank, come sit with me tonight. Just be there with me tonight. And I ended up that night, I killed 2 8-points. Not the biggest of deer,
dude.
but so I shot the first one. It was maybe 30 minutes in the stand. And the second one come out right before dark. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I was like, I'm going to shoot this one too. I pulled the trigger and just instantly in my head, I heard Frank's voice say, "Good job, Colt." And he was a huge Texas Longhorn fan, loved Colt McCoy. And so he called me Colt all the time. And so I heard it in my head that night. And I was like, you know what? That is something I'm going to do before every hunt. Yeah. And I do it every morning, like when I'm going to hunt with Kade or whatever in my truck on the way over there is, you know, I pray and I give thanks for the opportunity. I'd never asked to kill limits. I'd never asked to kill ducks or, you know, any of those. I'm always thankful for the opportunity, the place to go, the people I get to go with. You know, I'm always asking, you know, because we're guiding people from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I'm always asking, you know, I put on your show, you know, the reason why they come here. You know, if we don't kill them, we don't kill them. But I want them to see that have that opportunity, the 200 pintails locked up and fly off at 65 yards because they won't come any closer. You know, so, you know,
what you really want to see is a bunch of mallards come close and just run off, don't you?
Exactly. No. But so that is something I've started doing. And I don't know. I have been blessed. I feel like more to show up and have opportunities to kill ducks, have opportunities to kill this 140-inch deer that I killed a year later to the day that he passed away. I killed it on that day.
Wow.
And I was kind of struggling in life at that time. I'd lost a job at Batesville where I was coaching, didn't really know what was going to happen. Super thankful for my cousin, Courtney, and her husband. They brought me in, let me help them on the farm. Like, they couldn't pay me a lot, but they could give me something. And he got me hooked up with these people that had this property. And this buck walks out that afternoon, was lucky enough, again, to be let off work early that day. The boss come in, he's like, "Y'all done?" I was like, "Yeah, man, we're done." He's like, "All right." He didn't no more say, "You're good to go," got out of his mouth, and that door was slamming. Because I was in the truck driving to the stand.
Yeah.
And so when that deer walked out and I shot him, you know, I haven't really told many people about this, but I saw him run off and like I cried, like boo-hoo, like cried because, you know, to me it felt like my life was changing, my luck was changing, and you know, after that, like everything kept getting better. Like I got a job, I got another job, steady job that I knew I was going to make money. You know, Kade helped with that situation too, allowing me to guide, allowing me to, you know, make a little extra money to help with my family. Like I haven't told him, I need to tell him thank you more, you know, because he helped pull me out of that rut and, you know, let me hunt and have those opportunities. So, you know, you guys tell me like I smile and I laugh every time you tell me I have that horseshoe, but I honestly think it's for what I've started that morning or that afternoon in 2021 when I decided, you know what, I'm going to pray and I'm going to give thanks every opportunity I have to come hunt.
Dude, there's a lot of people that's going to relate to that.
So I got to say, so, you know,
I can right now.
You know, there's a pastor in Jacksonville that I've spoke about before, Joby Martin, but he always talked about like, you know, like you should, the people, like the Bible talks about like when you're like the boastful, like the braggy person, that's not when you're blessed, man. Like when you put
talk about favor,
when you put your heart and you put your like put God first, put people first, put everybody first, and just like what you're praying, like
everything.
literally what you're praying. That's why I'm thinking of this. Let them see your show, God. Like those are the opportunities when the blessings come. And I'm gonna say, like, I'm not the perfect Christian either, but like, I find a lot of, especially as I get older, those opportunities to like be thankful and talk to God is like out in the woods, and
that's my favorite.
100%, dude. And hearing you say that, like, it totally makes sense to me. And like I'm thankful like to have this time with you to like talk about this stuff, because like every time we come out, like, it's always like the next thing we got.
We're on a mission.
We're on a mission, man. And it's like always the next thing. Like we never have this time to like talk about each other's like backgrounds and stuff like this. And I'm just like, I love hearing that, man. And
and I'll just
it's
say
just so
this.
cool, dude.
I'll say this in a quick nutshell. I'm not saying I know it all, but I've been where a lot of you are trying to go. And I knew from the beginning when I met Colton, his demeanor, his success. It's really easy to tell when somebody's living their life right, and that's what you do, bud. I mean, you really do. You're a good person. And, I didn't know that about the prayer part, but I'm not surprised. I'm really not. I mean, because when you really get to that point, sometimes God shakes the ground you walk on to get your attention, and I remember a pastor of mine one time saying that, we all have a different sanctification process. For my mom, it was me acting like an idiot that brought her close to God, and she tells everybody every day, she goes, if it wasn't for Tony being an idiot, I wouldn't be so close to God, and so that was hers. For me, I had to flip a truck and almost die, for Colton, it was you losing a close friend. We all have that, and that's what's so incredible about the community of this sport that we share, is that we remember earlier on we were talking about it's not about the limits, it's not about the deer, it's about these times, it's about these things that you learn about people. And I'm not surprised, Colton. I mean, you have a beautiful family, beautiful kids, beautiful wife, and you're on our heart all the time. It's one of those people that you meet in your life and you're like, I swear I've known him since grade school. I mean, it's that easy, and for Kade to have you, I'm sure he's super thankful for that too.
I hope so.
Well, dude, and I don't want, like, where I was about to bring this up was before we got on like all of this stuff, because I have another lucky story, that sounds like Colton's a lot
dude,
more.
Dude, we got 1,000 Colton lucky stories, dude. All I know is if Colton's going, if it's one of those days where you're like, dude, I drank until 5 a.m. and we have to get up at 6. If Colton's going, I'm getting up. If he's not, I sleep till 10.
I've heard that question asked multiple times. You ask, is Colton going in the morning?
Is Colton going in the morning?
Yeah, so, I'm getting up.
So Kade calls me. I forgot what you were doing. Job stuff, probably. You couldn't go. And Cade's like, hey, you coming turkey hunting? And I was like,
oh, yeah, I had a show.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, yeah, dude, I'll come out there. Like, it's April. Like, I don't got nothing going on. I'll go out there.
Told you, I go, that's the best chance you're ever going to have to film something because Colton's going.
Well, no. What happened was I go out there, and I'm just like, I have zero expectations, honestly. Like, I really don't care. Like, I'm just going to, like,
hang out with buddies.
Because every time we go out there, honestly, I love going out there when it's not hunting season, because I want y'all to know, like, we like you outside of just like ducks.
We could be buddies outside of duck season.
It's important. It's
so
important.
to me, it's like, whatever. I don't even care what happens. I'm going to see these guys, like, whatever. So we go out there, and we get there that night, and Cade's like, well, I already shot my Arkansas turkey or whatever. Wait, I'm trying to think about the story. Did you shoot? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
He had shot. You can kill one a week in Arkansas, so he had killed his for that week.
Yeah, he killed his Arkansas turkey, and he's like, well, are you hunting? I'm like, well, let me see or whatever. I look up the licenses. It's like so expensive for out of state. I'm like, bro, I ain't hunting. And he's like, well, Colton wants to hunt. I'm like, sweet, let's all go hunt. So, we went to Missouri at the beginning of the day. We went to his family property out there, and like I think we, scared a turkey off the roost and saw a freaking possum in a field that we walked right up to. But I'm about to turn the story over to you in a minute. I'm just setting the preface here. So you know, we were like, yeah, whatever. You know, it was just like we saw a turkey at least, and that was the morning. And then Kade had this property in Arkansas where he'd killed a turkey off of. And he's like, well, you know, by the time we get down there, it'll be like 11:30, 12 or whatever, and let's just see what's going on. And we get down there, and I'm going to turn the story over to you, Colton.
Well, you know, we're driving back to Jonesboro, and he's like, hey, so we can take this road right here, and we can drive by that property that I had permission on. He said, there's been 3 birds in it. And he's like, and you know how Kade is. He's like,
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
that them birds are in that field. And so, you know, you always kind of take Kade with a grain of salt sometimes, but I mean, the dude does know what he's talking about. He does his work, does his homework. And so I'm like, let's do it then. Let's check it out. And I remember we roll around that corner and there's 2 of them standing out in the field. He's like, see, I told you they're out there. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, then, so we park and we're like, you know, we're deciding, what are we going to do? How are we going to get to these birds?
How are we going to approach these turkeys from what, 700 yards?
Yeah, we were way out there.
Yeah.
And as luck should have it, they decide to start walking to the corner of that field to the woods. Mm-hmm. And Kade was like, hey, let's cross this ditch, get across this field, get in this other ditch, and we just walk down this ditch right to him. He said, surely we can call him right back. And we're like, okay, well, I don't know the property. Kade does it. And of course, if Kade jumps off a bridge, I'm going to jump off a bridge behind him.
That's right.
So, you know, we suit up and we take off across this field, knee deep water, we try to cross around some briars, couldn't get through them. We were like, nope, let's go back. We went back, found another spot, and we get down in this creek and we poke our head out. And sure enough, right down there in the corner, that turkey standing there with his head up. and so we're like, I'm thinking this isn't going to work. This never works.
Dude,
you know?
no, I'm sitting here like, the coolest shit about all of this is I have all of this on film, by the way.
And by the way, I was getting somehow you were like explosive with your hands because you were
giving
me play-by-play.
Giving a play-by-play.
Tristan's texting me play-by-play while he's filming.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude,
because I'm pinging them, dude. I'm just like, dude, what's going on down there?
This isn't out west stalking a mule deer when, like, you know, you got the wind in your favor. This is a turkey that can see you from a mile away.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily that ditch we were in was pretty deep, so we were concealed. But the whole way down there is like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. We're going to poke our head out. He's going to be standing right there, and he's going to take off running.
Yeah.
And we poke our head out and look, and sure enough, he's just far enough away. And so now we're like, okay, this might work. How are we going to get positioned that Tristan can film this? Kade can see the turkey. I can see the turkey. I can shoot the turkey. And so, I don't know. We moved like 2 or 3 times. I was on this tree, and Kade's like, no.
It's not like you guys ever prefab this. You know what I mean?
No,
it
was like
on the go.
On the fly.
Yeah.
And so, I remember, Tristan, you were, I don't know, 20-ish yards back behind us. Mm-hmm. And Kade was like, no, go to this tree. No, go to this tree. No, you go back to this tree. I go to the street. No, you go here. You go. And I'm like, dude, this is not going to work because we could not figure out what we were going to do. And then he calls, and then I hear you go, "Hey, he's walking this way." And I'm like, "No way, no way is he walking this? He's not walking this way." And Kade just yelps a little bit more, and he keeps walking. And I was like, I kept looking at Kade because we were far enough away, and I was like, I can't see him. And he's like, "No, he's coming. He's coming."
Yeah, because you were like basically parallel to brush.
Yeah,
like give people a visual of like what this was. Colton's like, here's the ditch, here's the field, the turkey's over here to our right, like extreme, and Colton's like basically parallel with the brush and the turkey. Yeah. I'm over here kind of like, I can see it all because I'm back at this angle. Cade's like up here, so I'm seeing Kade, and then I see Colton over here, so I can see the turkey, I can see Kade. Colton can't see anything.
I can't see nothing. And then
shit.
Kade keeps telling me, he's like, you don't have him until he's flopping. I'm like, well, I don't have him right now because I can't.
Right. I would have smacked Kade right then, dude. I would be like, "Are you stupid?"
Which that's in the video. That's probably one of my favorite parts. You can see me looking over my shoulder to him saying that. And I'm like, this is not happening. And I kind of glance back at him like, is he coming? And he's like, yeah, he's still coming. He's still coming. And then he's going, can you see him? Can you see him? I was like, I can't see him.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he's like 25, 30 yards at this point. Like we've been in this ditch for 35, 40 minutes. And he's like, dude, can you see him? I was like, I can't see him. He's like, he's right here. I was like, I can't see him. And he was like, step out. He said, hold on. And I guess he stuck his head down to eat or something. I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't see him. He's like, move now. And I was like,
dude, it's like the part on the Matrix where he's like, Neo, do you want to live?
Yeah.
Move now. Yeah. He's like hiding in the freaking cubicles.
Well, it was, dude, because like I'm sitting there, like I got like all the like footage of this turkey the whole time, and like he's like on a mission to come see what's going on, and then it was that point where he said
he got to that point. He's like, I don't see what's going. It should be here. I can pinpoint it to. It's not here, and so he. By the time I finally
how many yards is turkey at this time from you, Colton?
20, 25, maybe. By the time I see him, he's in that posture, like head up, looking like he's fixing.
Color head
he's
changing.
Bolt. Yeah, like he's like, this is not right. She should be here. I've heard her. She should be here. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at Kade, and I was like, do you want me to try it? Because I could see, like, I had brush all around me, all around the turkey, and there's like a hole, literally about this big, that its head was perfectly in. And I was like, and I looked at Kade, and I was like, do you want me to try it? And he's like, yeah, try it. And I went, boom, and I pulled the trigger, and the bird disappeared. And I was like, all right, I got it. And I stepped out of the creek real quick to look, and that thing is flying. And I'm like, oh.
And this is where the part of the video where you guys are like running. I
get embarrassed because I'm like, I've never missed a turkey in my life. And Tristan is here videoing, and I have all the evidence. Like, I cannot say this did not happen because it's on film. And so I'm watching this bird, and he starts.
Isn't that funny what you think about in those split seconds, right?
This bird is like flying high, and I'm like, okay, he's out of here. Like, you know, he's flying like, and then all of a sudden he starts dropping like a wounded goose. Yeah, we kept saying, and he just kept dropping and getting lower and lower. And I was like, I kept looking at Kade. I was like, did I hit him? Did I hit him? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's watching with binoculars.
He hits, and he starts to walk, and Cade's like, he's bleeding out his head. Go! And I was like, go! And we take off sprinting. It's like, I don't know, 100 yards. It may not even be that far, but
dude, you guys were throwing. Dude, you guys were throwing dust.
Like it was half a mile.
No, seriously. If I had to ballpark it, dude, it was easily 150, 200 yards.
Really?
It was well over 100 yards.
Oh my gosh.
100%. No doubt about it.
Off
These dudes ran.
Well, I know they can soar forever, dude.
Yeah. Well, and this bird, like, as soon as they shot, just straight up in the air, like 12 feet, and just boom.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I missed. So, like, this is embarrassing. And we're running, and I'm running behind Kade, and Kade is shedding his vest as he's running, and this ball's like falling out of his pocket.
You should just hear the audio, dude. Just,
I forget that's when we had the microphone. So the microphone was hooked up to Kade, and we're running after this bird, and I see him step down in the ditch. And we finally run up on him, and we think he's a little further away, and he's like right there. And Kate's like, "Shoot him again!" I'm like, "We're 2 steps. Like he's gonna disappear if I shoot him again." And so Kate walks over there and grabs him, and like we drag him out into the field. And Kate stands on his head for a while. I'm trying to get my breath, thinking if I need to call 911 and get oxygen or not. and I look up at Tristan, and he is still filming this whole thing, just laughing, and I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. Another one of these situations where you're like, nobody's gonna believe it happened, and now it's all on film.
That's right.
So, that's the thing, it is all on film, so it's like there's no like it happened.
And let me tell you guys this. Listen, this is what began my whole passion for what we do. Was that years, dude? You guys, I hunted everything under the planet, from a cardinal bird to squirrels, deer, everything.
DNRs.
But seriously, all those years of incredible hunts that I have nothing. I have nothing to put out there except what's in my brain, which is very limited at this age. And that's what makes me tickled to death, and you guys will get there too, is that I know, like, it's like a passing thing for me, like you know, these things that you want to make sure that you do before you move on to the next world, right?
Yeah.
That's it for me. Is that to see you guys like be able to have these opportunities and be filmed And when you guys get my age and you look back on this shit 30 years from now, 20 years from now, you're going to be like, bro, can you believe that shit happened? And you have every detail of it, you know? And I love that for you guys. I love it. I love it.
You put out your duck, the last part of the duck video. And when I shared it, that is something I mentioned to Tristan and thanking him. And again, I need to thank you guys more because you guys are able to, you know, capture my memories.
Yes.
And your memories as well. But now I can go back and I can watch Twisted Teal. I can watch Spectacular. I can watch this turkey video when it comes out in the spring. I can watch the hunts in the snow again and relive it all over again.
Yes.
And I'm super thankful for that. And I'm ready for more.
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
Well,
that means a lot. Thank
yes,
you.
thank you, dude. And it's crazy is the older you get, is that those every year that goes by, those memories are harder to remember the details of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you guys like one of the things that our whole group gives me shit about is that Tony's probably sitting down in his studio doing one of two things: watching duck hunting videos that we've done, or rocking out 90s hairband classics. All right,
80s.
exactly.
or 80s.
Or maybe
hairbands.
both at the same time.
But when I sit there and I watch those videos, dude, every time for me, I don't forget about every night that I do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it means so much to me. Like, it's hard to explain, I guess, because you didn't grow up in my position. You didn't have trail camera pictures. You didn't have none of this shit. And I watched this.
A lot more cooler to you versus like me.
Yeah, and you guys will get there, and I know you just don't know what to be thankful for yet. Honestly, I mean, not that you're not taking hold of it. I know you guys possess those moments, but it's just that I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I watch this shit and I look back at some of the stupid shit that we used to do back in the day, Tristan, and like with like that video that I did, our spread sucks. And I was like, our spread sucks, and it really did suck, and that's why we didn't shoot any ducks.
Have you ever watched any of our early
all GoPro stuff,
non-Delta Thunder videos that are just like
it's been a while, but yeah, I have been through all of y'all's stuff. Yes,
but even those mean something to me. Is what I mean is that at
it
least
shows
it was
your growth.
captured.
It shows what you've learned. It shows that you guys are about capturing the reality of hunting. When you first started, you guys hadn't duck hunted much. You didn't know. And
no, just marsh.
From where you started to where you are now, like your duck knowledge, your decoy knowledge, like everything to me, it takes me back to why I decided to be a coach. Because it's kind of weird. I've gotten to see y'all grow as duck hunters, and as much crap as we give you, like I'm almost to the point where I could give you like an honorary Arkansas duck hunter like license. Like, hey, you guys are almost there.
Well, and let me just piggyback on that one last thing I'm going to say I want to get. Well, I just got to say one of the smartest things that Colton has ever taught me when it comes to duck hunting is he saw me struggling with calling. I was hail calling. I was nothing to call. I don't know what I was calling. Honestly, I had to cut down. I had everything else, and Colton's like, I remember, and it was that weekend that we shot all those ducks, Colton. You just said, it was just me and you just said, look, man, take a duck call, pick that call, and learn it. Mm-hmm. Just don't worry about what everybody else is saying is the hype, by this call, by that call. Find one you're comfortable with, and just stick with that. And just that little bit. It's funny how sometimes somebody says something to you that really impacts you. But and I still have the exact same call today. I'm not a great caller. I'm not going to say that I am. But I have became a good enough.
When to call.
Yeah, no, right. I became a good enough.
A lot better.
I tried to play the role.
And I do too. I'm not saying
I tried to play the role in the blind of like the rhythm guitar. The rhythm guitarist.
Yeah.
The rhythm guitarist, which is very important because when you think about it, and Colton, I know you'll agree with this, is that if you got 100 decoys out and ducks are coming in, you better not just be blowing them out or call.
Yeah.
Because that's not what a bunch of ducks sound like, right? Mm-hmm. There needs to be a peep. There needs to be a whistle. There needs to be a widgeon. Whatever it is, we hear those all the time from a distance when we see like those thousands of ducks over on whatever reservoir or whatever. And what do you hear?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just try to play that role, and hopefully I'll advance. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I was taught when I first started blowing a call. I was told, find one, get good at it. And then once you get good at that one, if you want something else, get something else.
Yeah.
But that stuck with me. And I mean, that's my defensive coordinator, in junior high. That's my thought process coaching. Like, people want to get fancy. Me, I want to do what are we good at, and we're going to be good at it. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to change everything I do for everything somebody else does offensively. We're going to be good at what we're good at. And so, I mean, I carry that throughout life.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
right. No, but I personally, Colton, I mean, it meant a lot to me. Like, it's just sometimes it's not what they say, it's how they say it.
Yeah.
And that hit me like so clear, because if you guys know me, that's why my name's HD Duck Hunter. I'm HD with everything. And I'd watched hundreds of videos and never heard it that way.
Well, I think one of the things, like another like outsider looking in thing is like the way we like view y'all in Arkansas is like, you got like, I'm trying to like make this as like relatable as possible, but like it's, to us outside looking in, it's like super intimidating to like go to Arkansas and do anything. Blow a duck, like
especially public land.
We're not the friendliest when it comes to duck hunting in these
dude,
parts.
just like blowing a duck call in a blind full of killers.
How do you earn the right?
You know what I mean? Like just like anything
I
like
fought
that.
that.
Yeah, it's like it's all intimidating. So it's like, thankfully we got like a friend group now where it's like not as like intimidating as it was, but like that's how we look at it. So like I can imagine like why that meant what it meant.
Yeah, well, and I've gotten to the point where, and keeping in mind, Kade's incredible way of comedy, but I've gotten to the point to where now I've gotten at least enough confidence in what I can call, what I can do, that even if he tells me to shut up, I tell him to shut up. You know what I mean? Because I listen, dude. I understand. I've done enough where I'm not going to ever be Kade Weatherford or Colton on a duck call. I mean, you guys both blow different and you blow the same, but you guys play off each other, and it's like, I love watching that instrumentation. It's like watching a band play to a perfect tune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times I just sit back and I'll just be like, if it was just me and Colton and Kade, I'm being the middle guy and just watching these two, and playing off of that. How can I kind of play that rhythm guitar? You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And it's a great learning experience. It really is. Well,
and one thing I'll piggyback off that is one of the coolest things I've seen and learned over the years is like, everyone talks about like ultimately it's, you want to sound a certain way, but it's more about like when you sound a certain way. And like I've seen you and Kade like multiple times, like which I think is really cool, is like ducks are landing like out in the field where you don't want them to land, and it's like because but the reason you're calling so loud is to get their ass up off the water.
We're trying to blow off the water. We want to sound so bad. They're like, oh God, not here.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get them back up in the air, and then when they're close, you gotta start talking slower, and then that you get them out on a turn, they're not really looking at you, and then you get their head to turn, and then back, same kind of soft thing. And
flight control.
Yeah, you just watch like you guys do that over and over again, over like we mentioned hundreds of hours of hunting with you guys. You start to learn like, it's the body language of these ducks.
It's a fun it's a fun experience especially for me. Like I achieved everything I wanted to do bow hunting.
Yeah,
I really did. And I mean, there was, thank God Tanya stayed with me, because I mean, there was years that I spent 200 hours in a tree stand, which is unthinkable.
Yeah.
Especially with little kids, that she allowed me to do that and that kind of thing. And so for me to learn the things that I've gotten to learn from you guys, I really do take that with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? I really do. And just try to be better and learn and just fill my place. And when Kade gives me shit about blowing my duck call, I go over and kick him in the nuts, or whatever it is. But no, it's a great learning experience. And Colton, there's no way I can't think about, and Tristan, please, I'm going to send you the video for this to throw this on this podcast if we can. But Colton, from your perspective, please tell the story about the 12-year-old boy.
Oh man.
Dude, listen,
Oh,
if you guys
so-
want to hear a good story about a kid that has never duck hunted in his life
Never.
and shows up and asks the owner of Delta Thunder if he can blow his duck calls,
Oh God.
you
just
can
like,
just
"Please."
only imagine what me and Colton and Kade did. But Colton, tell him.
So I guess backstory is the young man's mom cleans Cade's lodges, and
Yep.
Okay.
the dude is ate up with duck hunting.
Yeah,
And so I've seen him around the lodge before.
12-year-old boy.
12 years old. He had calls on, but he never blew them. He just had them around his neck. And so it's one of those deals. You're like, this kid wants to hunt. You can tell he wants to hunt. I think mom was, wanting to ask Kade, but just kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you think he's running a business, I don't want to ask him
Yeah.
for something for
Yeah.
free, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And so I think, if I remember right, Kade asked him. We didn't have any clients. Tony was in town, and he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Do you want to go duck hunting?"
Yep, that's how it
And-
went.
And it was absolutely like there was no, and I think he almost fell running through the lodge to go ask his mom if it would be okay to go duck
Yes.
hunting, go this in the
Yep.
morning. And so, of course, it worked out. He got to go. We show up that next morning. We get in the pit. Ducks aren't flying that great, and so me and Kate are kind of playing, blowing duck calls and stuff. And he's got a lanyard full. He's got speck call. He's got ducks. He's got a
Snow
I think
goose.
he had a
got
snow
it.
goose. He had
Everything.
it all. And so
I bet he had 8 calls.
he had a
Yeah.
bunch. And he, it's slow. And he looks down there at Kate and he goes, he's like, "Do you care if I blow my call?" And we're like, there's nothing really flying, whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Now, mind you, kid's never hunted before.
Yeah.
Dude, he picks up that duck call and just rips it. Just feed. Just and I'm like,
Dude, we started crying, laughing.
I looked
All
down
of
the
us were
pit-
crying.
I look down the pit at Kate and I'm like, who is this kid? And I'm like,
I think Colton even said, he goes, "Damn, he blows the call way better than you."
I did. And so I looked at the dude. I was like, "Where? You've never hunted?" And he's like, "No, sir, I've never hunted." And I was like, "Where did you learn?" He's like, "I watch YouTube all the time."
Yes.
All I do,
He
and
goes-
he taught himself.
He goes,
on
"I
YouTube.
just like the sound, and I wanted to learn."
And so he had a spec call, and he was like, "You want to blow it?" I was like, "Sure." I'm not great on a spec call. I can make enough noise to be dangerous. And I remember when I first picked one up and I blew it, and I was like, "What in the world? You don't blow this like a duck call at all."
Yeah. Yeah.
This kid picks it up and rips the spec call, and I'm like,
He did. Dude.
and I'm like sinking down in the blind at this point because I was like, that is way better than I've ever thought about doing. And same with the snow goose call. He's like, "Yeah, I can snow goose too," and he just and you're just like,
Dude, he was throwing Rossi's nose.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he was just like varying it. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, that became the highlight of the day for all three of us. Was like, dude,
he loved it.
It was
so
surreal.
much that he taught himself, and not ever knowing if he was going to get an opportunity to duck hunt.
yeah.
He loved
How unique is that?
the challenge, I guess, of blowing a call, making different sounds on calls, blowing a spec call, blowing a snow goose call. And to me, I was like, that it took me back to like myself. I was like, that was me. Like,
Yeah. He treated it like a musical instrument.
except the part I was fortunate to be able to go at that age and almost always have a place to go at that age. But the way he fell in love with the call, I was like, hey, this kid he's going to be something. He's good. He's good on the call. And Kate told him when he gets a little bit older, he's got a job at Delta Thunder if he wants it. So
Actually, he said in the
cool,
blind when he was blowing it, he goes, "You can blow the call way better than my guys. Do you need a job?" Is what he said.
that is what was said. You're right.
And you know what's cute is probably about a month ago, didn't he reach out to One Hell of a Life and he said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
he's-
Mr. Tony."
Well, he's on TikTok. His name's Colton, and as well. As
Yeah.
you. And he's always like on TikTok liking our stuff and messaging us. He's like, "Tell Kate I said hi," or whatever.
Yeah, it's so cute, man. But that's what it's all about, isn't it?
we
It
need
really
we need to
is.
think about getting a a youth hunt set up for him.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. The youth hunt, is that at the
Also
beginning
stalk.
or is it also at the end?
It's split, I think.
Yeah, there's I think between the first and second split. I don't know the date.
Well, I think they do it at the beginning of season right before, and then
Yeah.
at the end of season one day or something.
Yeah, the weekend before.
On the same,
typically.
and they do now that they've got the veteran hunt like one day. I think they do youth the same day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool if you guys could come down, or we're available,
yeah.
and like we film him, like youth hunt, like he gets
Dude.
to shoot. Let him.
Dude,
call
let him be the
duck.
guide.
Let him guide us. and
For
we just sit
real,
back and be
dude.
Like, let's see what you got, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be killer. Like one of the things we've always wanted to do is like, we're so big on this like trying to tell the story thing. That's one of the things we've always wanted to do is like do the youth hunt thing. That
Yeah.
would be neat if we could connect on that.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. But dude, listen, we can go on all night long. But
Yeah.
the thing that I wanted to end this with is that obviously we all just love Kade to death, and he runs an incredible business out there and stuff. And Colton, just give everybody from your perspective, from an honest friend to friend, day in, day out. You're there with Kade. You work for Kade. Like, what's the experience like out there?
The experience. If you haven't got to experience Kade Weatherford, you're missing out.
That's right.
The dude never meets a stranger.
Nope.
Always has a story. And he's super knowledgeable about ducks, geese, deer, turkeys, and he's never afraid to help you. Like, he's going to help you in any possibility, he can, he's going to try.
That's right.
And so, like I said earlier, that's why I decided, when he gave me the opportunity, absolutely, I will jump on board with this brand, and I will crash and burn with you if that's what happens, or we'll take it to the moon if that's what happens. But
That's
the
right.
way he treats people, and we've seen a few comments and stuff, but like I said, you can't make everyone happy.
No.
Right.
But 98% of the people are going to leave Delta Thunder happy.
That's right.
Whether
and
you,
want to come
whether
back
you
next
kill
year.
a duck or not, he works his butt off to give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
That's right.
And to me, when I was doing that, was going with a guide, that's what I wanted. I knew, as a hunter, you're hunting, you're not killing. And so the way Kade worked, that's what stuck me with him. So
Isn't the biggest fear of anybody that when we're out of state and we want to get a field with an outfitter, or the first time we booked Tristan, remember when we were there, I was so skeptical, the VenQ thing and the Kade and all. I was, ask Tristan, dude, I was super skeptical. But the thing is that because you're spending your hard working money,
Yeah.
exactly.
it costs money to do this shit. And you're like, is this the right person? Is this the right fit? That kind of thing. And for $250 a day, listen, to
Show me someone else is
to
doing it.
go hunt the Super Bowl state of the world of duck hunting, you're not going to get anybody who works like that.
And as Mr. Glenn says, if you don't have fun, it's your own fault.
That's
It's
right.
That's true. As crazy
That
as
should be
Mr. Glenn is,
Cade's new statement, his new
It's true.
his new business.
That should be his Delta Thunder.
the mission
You don't have
statement.
fun, it's your own fault. That's what it
Mission
should be.
statement, right? Yep, for sure, man. But no, Colton, man, I hope the kiddos are doing great and the wifey's doing great, man. I know we got on this podcast, but that's always the thought of us is you and your family and all that stuff, man. But
I wish we
I
had
was-
more time spent together at the Ducks thing, man. We were just
Yeah.
freaking.
that's crazy. You guys have to, market and get yourselves out there, and that's great. I'm glad you guys get that opportunity. I'm happy to see y'all grow, and your subscribers grow and your content grow, and just everything you guys have done has been is crazy, and just seeing you guys there with the Frog Talk booth, and you're like, all right, hey, these guys might be going somewhere. Just stick with them. Some big things might be happening. So
well, but people like you are a vital piece of that.
yeah, no doubt, and that's why it was
100%.
cool to be there for a moment. It was like Kade, you, the whole crew.
Yeah,
It was
the kiddos were
Erica,
there,
the
and
kids. Yeah.
no, that's what it's all about, man.
I
But,
had a mad kiddo a few weeks ago. I took him dove hunting, and she could not shoot a dove because I don't have anything small enough for her to shoot. And so now we are on the search for her to have a gun to shoot a dove. So,
Oh,
There you
shoot. All right.
and so I'm excited about that part. So I know I got one that's wanting to. The youngest one, I imagine he's going to follow right in sister's footsteps because he does with everything else. So I'm excited for that future to begin.
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Well,
man.
dude,
Well-
well, you just keep pumping that influence that you put into those young people, and thank you for what you do for that. And I know that those kids are going to look back someday and just be like, Coach Colton, my teacher Colton, and everything. You're gonna. It's an incredible position that God has put you in to influence people. So good for you.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me on. I've been looking forward to it since you texted me a month ago.
Well,
Well, sorry it took so long to line up, dude. Just freaking.
Well, and honestly, you
Hey,
guys,
when you're as famous as y'all are, I
Well,
get it. It's
I
cool.
don't know about that.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.